Welcome to Relevant Rants. We're going to be ranting today. We're glad you've joined us. Like us, share us. I'm here on my phone getting ready to share our feed, and hope you guys are doing the same. So hope you're doing well today. There's a lot that we have to talk about, a lot going on, and I'm just going to put it in here. Enjoy. Hey, we want to thank our sponsors, Covenant Coffee. If you notice, I'm here by myself today because Mike Harvey took the day off. He just thought he was going to get away with it, but I drug him in anyways. He's at his chateau, and he's enjoying life. And but there again, as you could tell, he's not sitting next to me. And Randy Martin at Covenant Coffee, thank you for sponsoring our shows. Mike Harvey has hidden your cup, so I can't show it. And I think he took it home. He liked it so much. So if you could, I could use a tumbler or something. But we want to thank Randy for working with the emancipated foster youth in Kern County, providing education, providing a job, providing housing, and so much more through Covenant Ministries. Randy, you do a great job. If you're out there online, go out there and order Covenant Coffee. It can be shipped all over the world or wherever you can get it. So, Mike Harvey, welcome. Glad to see you in your chateau where you are.
So I got to do a little fact check on you here, Tom. You said that I didn't want to be there. I said I was going to be there. You told me not to come in, and you made the sick guy get out of bed and jump on the screen. So here I am.
Because I love to have you on the show. So we are joining.
By the way, if you read below the screen here somewhere, I am the better half of 5'11".
Well, I'm not going to doubt that. So we're going to bring in our guest today. He is part of our 5'11 Media family. He is a ex-professional baseball player, stuntman in Hollywood, pastor. He was a chaplain for the Seattle Mariners. I think this guy's got an all-star resume, and now he is a professor at Grand Canyon University and also a pastor. I don't know what David Bowen else could add to his resume, but I'm impressed, Mike.
Good morning, guys. How are you? It's good to see you.
Always great to be with you.
Yeah. So David, kind of give us an introduction. I gave the broad view of your life and brought everybody up to date. What is your position at Grand Canyon? Because it's going to come into play with our show today.
I'm an adjunct professor there, going on my third year doing that. I teach Christian Worldview. Christian Worldview is a class that every student at Grand Canyon has to take, no matter what their major is. And I enjoy teaching that. I have the ability to teach a New Testament survey or some other Bible classes, but I choose to do Christian Worldview because, again, every student has to take this course before they graduate. And sometimes if they're a nursing student or a business student or something else, this may be the only theology class they get in their 4 years at Grand Canyon.
Well, I love it because I think you had told us on a previous show, I think there is quite a few online. I mean, we're talking in the thousands online and then thousands that attend in person, correct?
Yeah, we have 25,000 students on campus right now. 18 live there, 7,000 commute in each semester, and we have over 100,000 students online as well. So Grand Canyon is growing quite a bit.
Well, they did great in the March Madness. I enjoyed watching them.
They did.
It was acknowledged because they did it, and their coach said it, and then the news media covered it. So, Dave, I love what you're doing and how you're doing it. So, welcome to our.
We need to highlight one other thing, Tom, that we left out. And Tom, David, I know you're getting ready to, if you haven't already done it, launch a new podcast. You got some membership community coming up around prophecy and stuff. You want to tell the audience about that as well?
Yeah, I didn't grow up in the church, so not having a church background, I kind of got interested in reading the Bible. When I started to read the Bible, I saw where prophecy was so prevalent. So that became a passion of mine. And I have a podcast coming up called The Final Hour. It's really just understanding the day that we live in and knowing what to do with it. We don't need to have any fear or concern. We need to understand what God is doing and God's in control, but to be aware of what's happening. So the podcast will be covering mostly that.
Well, today we're going to bring in a special segment, and I'm going to do I'm going to earn my keep here. I'm going to do a tease. We're going to do it at the end, and we're going to talk about the red heifer that Israel is apparently have over there and some plans for. So right now we're going to do I'm going to look at the expression on Mike Harvey's face, and of course, Professor Bowen, and I think they're going to enjoy our first clip.
Professor Dr. Bowen.
Dr. Bowen. I like it. So we're going to play our first clip, and then I'm going to get some comments from Mike and David on this.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
And Joan.
Mike smiled.
I'm going to pronounce right. Shanga
Kachanga?
Koala.
Koala?
Mike, I bought 1,000. I got a smile out of you and Professor Bowen. What do we think about that? I know he's old and his brain may be failing him now, but can we give him credit for the past?
So can I present an alternate theory? Is it possible that Mr. President Biden is speaking another language and he's just smarter than all the rest of us?
Well, David, I'll let you comment on that.
Well, it's easy to look at him and say, "What are we doing?" I like to read foreign newspapers. Australia, England, they are just so tearing us apart because of the leadership that we have. You don't get the true political feel from the U.S. media, but you do from the foreign correspondents because they have nothing to lose and they're just honest with it. But you look at it. Besides the joking, besides the shaking of the head, there is so much of a plot behind what's happening.
Oh boy.
And he is just kind of the key pin to all that because he's the one he's the face of it all, but he's not the one making the decisions. When you look at all that's happening there, I just came back from Boise, Idaho this past week, speaking up there to business people. And it was interesting bringing up central bank, digital currency, the CBDC, bringing up the IoT, the Internet of Things, or the 15-minute cities, just looking at the facial recognition, going to a ball game or going to an airport and where that's coming in. And these prominent business people had no understanding of what was going on behind the scenes. Well, so you look at someone like Biden, all these things are in play and he's just the puppet out there kind of being the face out there. But all this stuff is happening behind us. So we're going to spend our time mocking him and looking at him and laughing at him while everything else is being signed off and being put in place behind our backs. Yeah, they put in place Bidenomics. You probably talked about that. So our next clip is going to talk about that. Let's go and play our next clip.
Real world.
So girls, what have we learned about grocery shopping?
I don't want to be an adult. I don't want to be an adult. It takes me an hour worth of working and I still can't even buy this. And it's 3 pieces of chicken. An hour of working doesn't buy me one thing of chicken at all. I'd be lucky if I got 2.
All that, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, that is called Bidenomics. That is called Bidenomics, and we are very proud of Bidenomics.
Yeah, I love the girls' realization that they couldn't buy 2 pieces of a 3-pack piece of chicken. It reminded me of the movie Father of the Bride, where he went in and he goes, I don't want 6 pieces. I don't want 6 buns. I want 4. So Mike, I got another smile out of you today. And
I would say sometimes I don't want to be an adult either, Tom.
I know, but we're in that category, you and I and David. So, David, what do you think about that one? Did you guys talk about the Bidenomics besides the obvious?
Well, yeah, not by direct name, but everything around it, what it surrounds. We have to look at a biblical perspective. We know the day is coming where there's going to be, a mark of the beast. Now, I don't believe the church would be here for that, but we're setting everything up for that. And again, the central bank digital currency, we're leading right into that. They want to take the middle class and do away with it. They're raising the prices. The World Economic Forum has come out and said, in 10 years, you won't own anything, but you'll be happy. So all the plans are in place for these things to happen, and that all ties into what we're seeing with the cost of food and everything else.
I got another clip, and it's from our friend at the Daily Wire, Jordan Peterson, and I think Dave is going to be able to be an expert to talk about this. Play Jordan.
Getting protesters to my events at university. I held them in the morning. That's great. No kidding, eh? I'm the Messiah. Yeah, really? Well, as long as you don't want me to get out of bed before noon.
So, David, what do you say about that?
Currently, I'm teaching a 7 a.m. class. So, but I got to give props to my students. Most of my students do make the 7 a.m. class. But yeah, my 11 o'clock class, I don't know if I say good morning or good afternoon, because some are just getting up for the 11 o'clock class too. So
I think Jordan was mentioning his protesters. So sometimes they don't get up before noon. And I thought that was cute. What do you think, Mike?
They might stay up that late, but they definitely don't get up that early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I thought those were two cute ones. I'm going to run into our migrant problem today, and I'm going to drag this just a little bit back and play a clip from a few years bygone. Let's go ahead and bring the next.
What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally. But after you've done these things over a certain period of time, you can earn your citizenship, so that it's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it, but over time, you give people an opportunity. Now, it only works, though, if you do all the pieces. I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration, but they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it. So we've got to deal with that at the same time as we deal in a humane fashion with folks who have put down roots here, have become our neighbors, have become our friends. They may have children who are U.S. citizens. That's the kind of comprehensive approach that we have to take.
So I want to go right into the next one to bring them together, and we'll talk about this.
Legal, they need to pay taxes.
What do you think is going to happen with the migrant crisis here in New York City?
It's getting bad because they're also next to my house and they piss on my door. I could tell that they're gang lords. I mean, they're tattooed up to head to toe. The people pissing on my door, they're tattooed up head to toe. And there's no law against illegal migrants committing crimes. So again, it's lawlessness, non-payment of taxes, siphoning all our money to their native countries, and it's just killing our economy. Eric Adams just said he's going to give 4,000 migrants jobs. That means 4,000 civilians have less jobs. It's just not fair to Americans. It's getting scary. Right now, people in the Bronx are getting attacked. People Upper East Side, 2 of them just got attacked. And it's illegal to buy mace. It's illegal to protect yourself. I've lived here 50 years. And this is not fair that we feel unsafe in our homeland. And our own country is not defending us. And there's nobody to protect us. The police can do nothing. They told us they can do nothing because there's no law against them.
So how did we get so far, Michael and David?
You got
a bomb.
The first video said "fool me once." They actually fooled us many, many more times than once. Obama got reelected and he was lying the whole time, and then he's elected now for a 3rd time, and we'll see, he might get elected for a 4th time.
Yeah.
I love your
opinion. It's easy to look at the symptoms though too and get caught up in the symptoms because that's where we feel the pain. But the whole problem is, again, biblically, we know there's going to be a time we become global. Everything is globalization. Everything is about, unite the globe, not just keeping America where it is or other countries. And so we know there's going to be a one world religion, a one world government, a one world financial system. And that's where we need to understand where we're at right now.
And we're bringing in everything else, the problems of the world. Let's go and play the next clip.
You went to the southern border. Now you're saying that you're going to give people facts. What did you take away from that experience, and what kind of reporting are you going to be bringing back from that experience?
I'll tell you a fact I took away. I talked to the head of all the border guards down there, the head of the union. I asked him straight up, kids are coming over the border with numbers written on them, phone numbers and addresses. Mm-hmm. Do we check those out? He said, well, we call them. Is it possible that we're sending them into known prostitution rings or sweatshops? He said, it's not possible. It is absolute. We are using American tax dollars to ship children into known prostitution and sweatshops.
In America. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So like you said, David, you don't have to worry about the other parts of the world. It's coming to us.
Yeah.
And you're saying that it is the bigger plan, right? And you see it in Scripture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We know what the end's going to be, and we know the pain we're going to have to get there. Again, I take it from a pre-tribulation standpoint. The church will miss a lot of the tribulation period, but there's some growing pains to get to that point, and we're kind of experiencing that now in all aspects of our life.
And and I think as we see it, and it's almost blatant. It's not even done.
It is blatant.
It is not done behind the scenes anymore. It's kind of done out in the open, out in front. It just amazed me that all the Democrats just voted to not pull out of the emergency budget to keep the spending going. The fact that Biden would have to stop flying illegal aliens into the country. It's like, whoa. As President Obama pointed out, there's got to be a process. And they're like, no, we're not even going to vote for the process. We're just going to act like it didn't even appear. And so they're good with this, is what we're saying. They're like, hey, we want to overwhelm the system with these type of problems.
Well, again, they put Agenda 2030 in place in 2016. So back with Obama in those days, they were just beginning the process. And now they're so far down the road, they don't need to hide it anymore.
Yeah. I got another video.
My big question for David is why?
Why what?
Why? Like they're destroying our country on purpose, and they know.
Well, they have to. In order to accomplish their goal, they have to. I mean, America is the policeman of the world. America is the banker of the world. So biblically, if you look at it, America, and I love our country, don't get me wrong, but America has to decrease, and Russia and nations like that have to increase. And Russia cannot increase unless America decreases. Again, because we are the policeman. If something breaks out, we put our military there. We are the banker of the world. So they have to go against America so that the other nations that in the end times that will rise up have to have that influence and power.
Okay, so we understand from a biblical perspective, but why, like logically and human perspective, minus the biblical perspective, what is going through their head that makes them want to do this?
Mike, I just believe there's got to be chaos. They want to create chaos so they can come in and rescue us from something they're creating. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, David. I mean, it's like if there wasn't a problem, they're going to create a problem. They're going to create kids coming here, being in the sweatshops and coming illegally, and then they're going to create chaos in cities. Let me play the next clip because we're going someplace, and I want to get to after this clip. It's a little bit long, but let's watch it because there's a point at the very end of this that I want to talk about as much as the problem. So think about this as you're watching it, guys.
Venezuela? No, en México. ¿En México? Sí. Oh. ¿Te habla inglés? No. Okay. So, Terry, you were filming the license plate. What happened?
Yeah, they told me not to film. Are you?
No.
Well, no problem. No problem. You? What's wrong? Say what?
Soy reportero. It's America. It's America. It's a free country, guys. It's a free country. We can film in America. So this is interesting. So they don't want you filming their stuff in America. They're here illegally. ¿Habla inglés? No? No? Mexico or Venezuela? Huh? Okay, Venezuela or Mexico? No? Okay. So they're selling drugs out here, doing drugs out here. This is the America. This is the America the Democrats want. There you go. There you go.
I told you.
Hey, all right. Hey. Say it again. Again. That's what they think of you, America. That's what they think of you. F you. That's what they think of you. No? Come on, be proud of it. Are we buying drugs? Are we selling drugs? There you go. You got the buyers and the sellers?
There we go. Just grab something.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the America Democrats want. It's all illegal. You got now the drug dealers out here. They don't want to be on camera, of course. They don't want their license plate on camera, of course. They flip us off, of course.
Yeah.
It's that's what you're inviting in. You're inviting in the criminal element from third world countries. What do you think is going to happen, guys? It's not going to be good. They're telling American citizens not to film after they invaded our country and they're selling drugs on the streets of America. That's Democrats' America right there. That's Joe Biden's America right there. So, Pastor, you're here watching this. These guys over here, what you said they're
throwing gang signs up, man, as if they own the country. But, you know, just like I'm sitting here, we not worried about that, okay? We just gonna deal with what we got to. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm gonna make sure that you're all right and that we're okay as well.
Yeah, that's it. American people got to rise up.
Man, we got to get Trump in 2024. This unquestionably, this all the Democratic Party stuff, man. This is what they brought our country to, and we got to stop it. As soon as Trump get in, it needs to be a mass deportation and watch them head for the border.
That's it. Yep. This guy, one of the guys in there, getting in there.
So they went in there.
We're dealing with gang members. We're dealing with thugs from other countries. They don't care. You're coming from a climate, a culture of death. They don't care. But that's what you're doing, and that's why it's so important that we got, the American people, everybody, doesn't matter, white, black, brown, doesn't matter. We got to come together as American citizens against this.
It's the American people now. We have to be one. We gotta watch each other's backs. We gotta promote each other because these illegals have come to replace all of us for big business, man. Trump 2024. Trump 2024. That's the only way that we're gonna get our country back and make this country great again.
Isn't it amazing, guys, that we're getting some interesting response from the citizens now? Do you see that, David, being something where this is going to have a reverse effect where they're going to now cause Americans to more solidify, to start coming together and saying enough is enough? Because here's a guy saying Trump is the solution.
I think once they actually see things coming together, we're going to kind of wake up. I mean, the World Health Organization, they plan on doing things by May. If that goes into place, we're going to see some of the stuff that's been behind the scenes. Well, not even behind the scenes, but told it's going to come to fruition, and we're going to have no choice but to wake up.
So what do you think about the American church, Dave? Do you see the church? Because this guy, they called him pastor in the video. So as I see this, and Mike and I, and we've talked to you about our affiliation with Turning Point USA, Turning Point Faith, right. and they have more of a grassroots organization in the colleges with TP right. USA. Then they have TP Faith, where they're trying to bring together the pastors. Now they're doing a believers summit where they're going after the believers. Do you see the faith system in our country coming together at all to kind of push back on the problems?
I see part of the faith community coming together. Jesus, towards the end of his ministry, used parables, and parables were designed to divide people. Those who really wanted to understand sought out the answers, and those who didn't care kind of thought he's talking crazy talk and moved on from that. And I think the church has been so woke and moving more in the woke direction that you're going to have churches continue to go that way, but you're going to have the remnant church also stand up and say, "Wait a minute, we need to get real serious about this." And that part of the church will be standing up and coming alive again. So I think there's going to be a division. I think it started back with when same-sex marriage was brought in. I think that divided the church, and it's been going more divided ever since.
Can you think of two more topics that have divided the church more than abortion and same-sex marriage?
No, I mean, those are the two. The gender stuff is just, but yeah, same-sex marriage, when that happened, it happened on a Friday. The Supreme Court put it on a Friday. It's supposed to be on a Monday. I remember that Sunday talking about it, and I said the church will never be the same again because some in the pew are going to be okay with it, and some aren't. And now 8 years later, that has been the case.
It is. Well, Michael, you've been quiet. Can you give us a 30-second synopsis? Because I want to roll into our next segment.
Well, I'm trying to stay quiet to let David speak because I'm enjoying, David's opinion. David and I have had long conversations about stuff, and I think for me, it's heartbreaking and sad because the America that all three of us grew up in is like essentially doesn't exist anymore.
We don't recognize it.
Yeah.
We don't. So, David, this is going to be your segment, and I'm going to play a video. It's a little bit long, but I think we want you to clean up some of it for us and our audience after we play it. It's about the red heifer, the nation of Israel, reinstituting the sacrificial practices that they had to atone for their sins. So let's roll this and just kind of...
Ever any doubts whether or not we're living in the end times, you can forget about it. The state of Israel has erected a giant altar to sacrifice one of the 3 red heifers so that they can build the 3rd temple. When are they going to sacrifice the red heifer? On the 29th of March, which just so happens to be Good Friday. Damn it, man. Article that I read said that the ashes would have to cool for 2 to 3 days before they were able to be used, which would mean that they were able to be used on the 31st of March, which is Easter. What? If you're unaware of what the ashes of the red heifer mean, watch this video right here. This is insane. Damn it, man.
According to Mosaic law, burning the ashes of a red heifer is a mandatory act for beginning the temple offering to God. The ashes of the red heifer is a key element in a biblically mandated purification ritual. These ashes are required for purification in a range of situations, including contact with dead bodies. Numbers chapter 19. Now, with all the bloodshed on the Temple Mount down through the centuries, the mount itself must be cleansed before the temple can be built. According to the Torah, Moses prepared the first red heifer, and from that time until the destruction of the temple, only 9 heifers were prepared. There has been no proper red heifer in Israel for the past 2,000 years. The difficulties of finding red heifers anywhere is that they are not only rare, but the animal must meet the requirements as stipulated in the Torah and in the Oral Talmud. The 5 main criteria for establishing the proper red heifer for the holy purpose of purification are: it should be completely red with no spot or blemish. Actually, the heifer can have no more than 2 non-red hairs, and the hooves also must be red. It must be a female. Heifers are female. It must never have been used for labor. It must never have been pregnant, and it must be between 3 to 4 years old. In Judaism, this prophecy signals the coming of a time that includes the return of biblical laws of purity, thus allowing for truly holy life. For evangelical Christians, it heralds the end of days, the return of Jesus to earth, and the rapture. This belief has long driven Christian Zionism and Christian lobbying on behalf of Israel. In September 2022, through a joint effort established between a Christian ministry and the Temple Institute in Jerusalem, 5 red heifers from Texas were transported to Jerusalem and now graze at a secure, undisclosed location in the Israeli-occupied West Bank.
You guys can cut that off now. So, David, is the video factual? Does it give a true depiction of what's happening?
It's partial. It's partial. The 5 red heifers are kept in Shiloh, which is the West Bank. The dating is off, though. This is a Jewish cultural thing. So they're not looking at Easter this weekend like that. They're looking for Passover for that. And as far as the whole purpose of this, there's this debate in the community of the rabbis, because the 5 heifers did come from Texas. They paid $100,000 each for them. Those heifers were born October 5th to October 12th in 2021. And these heifers have to be between 2 and 3 years old. Now in Israel, part of a time is a whole time. So if you're going an hour in one day, you could call it a day. Jesus was in the tomb 3 days, Friday, all day Saturday, and part of Sunday. Well, part of Friday, part of Sunday, but it's 3 days. So I say that because the red heifer would be suitable to be sacrificed 2 years and 1 month after they're born. So they're born October 2021, which we're in that time frame now. So now 3 have been disqualified. So really? 2 have actually been. The 3rd one's about to be disqualified. So when you look at all that, as far as those efforts with that, it all comes down to the 3rd temple. The whole reason why even do this, and Numbers 19 is the passage to that, but there's 4 times in the Bible that we're told there will be a 3rd temple. And in order for the 3rd temple to be done, it has to be purified, it has to be cleansed. That goes back to the red heifer and the purification. As far as the priests, there are 9 priests over in Israel. They're teenagers that have never been unclean to their knowledge that they're proclaiming. So if the temple is built, they have priests who could go up and actually do sacrifices. And the Temple Institute, which I've been to many times over there, it's a very controversial spot over there, but they have all the elements ready. So they also say that the 3rd temple is being quarried off-site, as the 2nd temple was as well. So it could go up very quickly if they're given permission to it. And what's unique, what nobody's talking about, is the Muslim response to this. The Sunnis are okay with the Jewish temple going up. In fact, the plans that kind of talk about it, they're not going to touch the Dome of the Rock. It's going to be going north of that, and it's going to be a fence between that, which kind of comes out to Revelation chapter 11 with the Gentiles and the courts and so on and so forth. So we see some scripture to it. We see it's coming, but the whole key is the third temple, which the Bible does talk about, because the Antichrist, whenever he's in power, he will have to have the abomination of desolation. He's a temple for that. So the red heifer really ties into that. That's the connection we have with God and the whole purpose on it.
So this timing that they're talking about, of course, they said today, which
right.
You're saying it, the timing's off, and they're talking about Easter. So we are kind of watching a timeline kind of work itself out right now. I love the fact that you, David, you're always so knowledgeable in this, and you keep up with this, and I love that about what's going to be with your podcast. I mean, Mike, we're gonna have some involvement with what he's doing, because I love the eschatology. Is that the right word for it, Dave? Eschatology.
It is. Yes, it is.
And I love your knowledge in that, because it's good to keep Christians educated in this, because Israel is a timepiece for it, isn't it, David?
Oh, that's God's time clock. If you want to know what's going on, look at Israel.
Yeah. And so as they do this, does this mean, David, that once they institute it, they have to start killing the animals? I mean, there's going to be a lot of bloodletting, right? Like animals.
Well, they will reinstitute that in the temple. But again, that really won't happen until the Antichrist signs the peace pact, and that begins that whole 7-year process. And he will renege on that 3.5 years into at the halfway point. But to build that third temple, yeah, the question is, how much of that do we get to see? I mean, that's all in God's timing with this. We just know that there has to be a third temple coming up at some point. And we're kind of getting there. The important thing, too, is the purification process from a Christian standpoint. From a Jewish standpoint, they need that for purification. But Hebrews chapter 9 says, the blood of Christ is the only thing that purifies us. So we need the blood of Christ. We cannot be pure for a red heifer or a purification process or any kind of temple thing that they do over there. It's only the blood of Christ, whether you're Jew or Gentile, that will purify you. And that's what we need to keep our focus on.
Well, as believers, as Christ, I think that's the thing, that we can't use this type of thing to get our attention diverted away. It's almost like squirrel. God gave us the mission to go out and make disciples of the world. And I think that's the thing that we have to keep in front of us, regardless of how our government's responding, regardless of what's going on. I love the fact that you went out to educate some businessmen on your last trip. Yeah. And you were able to give them knowledge that they didn't have. And I think that's some of the things that Mike and I want to do with 511 Media Group, is to keep focusing on the fact that people are out there. And I don't think our job's done, because we want to see as many people come to Christ as we can. So what would your message be, David, to the Christian world out there, as we're looking at stuff like this? Because I do believe people can squirrel. Sensationalization comes from the area we're on right now, which is social media. We're on digital content, but we believe in 511. We believe in your show. We've got to invade this area to help people keep understanding that there is hope in Christ.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's where the whole focus needs to be. But God's given us the whole game plan on what's going to happen. And Christians don't really want to deal with, I think, the understanding of what might be coming down the road. I mean, central bank digital currency, that's being done. Chase came out this week and said they're ready to move into that. So you have the mass media lying to us, saying we won't get there, but we will get there. You have facial recognition. You got almost all sports stadiums now putting in some aspect of facial recognition. You can't go to a ball game without being photographed and having your face there. You can't. It's going to get to the airports. You got 45 airports now that have facial recognition. So your ticket's going to be your face, and that's going to be just how technology's going. The 15-minute cities. We have 700 apartments here in Tempe, Arizona, where you cannot own a car if you want to lease and live in this apartment complex. And they're going to double that size. It's taking place in Dallas, taking place in South Carolina. So you're losing privacy and control. And I'm not sure that's something people want to deal with and talk about, but we're told in the end times that's how it's going to go. And it's, again, it's a huge picture. You got to look at the whole big picture and how all of it comes together. And Israel's a key to it. So that third temple is the key towards end times, and the red heifer is a key to that third temple. So it's piece after piece after piece after piece.
But like you're saying, as you teach your biblical worldview to your students, do you give them the hope that you have? I mean, do you tell them, hey, where our job doesn't stop at this point, just hearing these stories?
Oh yeah, we have not been given the spirit of fear. So we have to have a sound mind with that, and having a sound mind is understanding where the hope is. And what do you do with all this stuff? Well, God will provide. And again, I think the church would be kind of divided between the woke church and the remnant church. I think those who really want to understand, like the time of Jesus, those who want to know the parables, understand the parables, they understood. But we're a day now to where we need to really be focused on the Lord and what it's all about. And all he brings is hope in a better future. No matter how bad it gets here, we have a glorious future ahead of us.
And I think that's one of the things that our pastor spoke about on Wednesday night at Valley, talked about how death doesn't hold its power over us anymore as believers in Christ.
Right.
Our focus is on the eternal, but that doesn't relieve us of the responsibilities to help while we're here on the earth. Paul said it, to be absent from the body is to be with the Lord, but it's better that I be with you than do that. And I love Paul's point there, and I agree with that. I think there's a new song on the radio that I keep hearing, and it keeps resonating in my mind. If you're not dead, he's not done.
Yeah.
And I love that I'm more valuable to God, and in my older age, and Mike will probably comment on this. When I wake up and I'm on this side of the grass, I'm like, use me, God. I'm ready today. I want to be used.
So well, all believers, we all will face that first death, but as a believer, you'll never face the second death, which is spiritual separation. And that's a key understanding that there's two deaths, one physical and one spiritual. And as a believer, that great white throne judgment will never face that the second death, separation from God for eternity, will never happen. And that's part of the hope in the whole picture.
It is. Mike, did you want to jump in here before I give David the last few minutes?
You know what? No, I'm good. I'm just trying not to die over here.
Well, I don't want to be a prophet and say that you won't be on this side of the grass, but get to feel about it. David, take us out of the show. Give us something that maybe you're going to speak on Easter this Sunday.
2,000 years ago, that weekend changed the world. And everybody who lived before that were looking forward to it. And everybody's lived after that, you and I, were looking back on that. But that weekend changed the world. And Jesus' death and resurrection gives us the hope. Without that, we're hopeless. Without that, we're just spinning our wheels. So to talk about what Easter really means and Resurrection Sunday, that's what the whole hope is, that we have eternal life, that we have the possibility for it. But we have to accept it. We have to be committed to it. And once you make that commitment and that vow, it's living it out. We talk about in the university level, we talk about wisdom and we talk about knowledge. Knowledge is having the understanding, but wisdom is applying it. So once you understand that there's hope, it's the application. And that's falling in love with Jesus and living for him.
Yep. And being the reason why we do what we do.
Exactly.
Love that. David, thank you for being on our show. Thank you for taking your time. I don't want to abuse it because I think you got another Zoom call coming up here, and you're a busy man. You've been traveling, enlightening businessmen on cryptocurrency, banking, facial recognition. And David, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being a friend of ours.
Oh, you bet.
Being part of what we do here. Mike, get to feeling better, and don't spread your germs. Keep them to yourself. And want to thank you guys for watching us. If you like us, share us, because what David has to say, and there again, we have fun on Relevant Rants. We have fun. If you don't like what we say, come and tell us, and we'll respond to that. I'll let Mike respond to that. But we just get out there because we do believe that there's things happening right now that are tearing down what our country stands for. It's actually coming in, and we've had a great run, and we could see it coming to end by what's being put in place currently with this administration and some of the thinking that they're doing. So if you're out there, you believe in what we do, like us, subscribe. David, how do they catch I won't put a link on it, but how do they catch you, especially with your new podcast and anything else that you do?
Yeah, if they go to interpretingthetimes.com, they can find all information and go from there. So Interpreting the Times.
Yeah, and we'll get that out there. So there again, guys, thank you. Thank you for watching. On behalf of 511 Media Group, we believe in faith, family, and freedom, all found in Christ and the things that are benefiting us. So Dave, you take care. Have a great day. Thank you again, Mike. God bless.
God bless you guys. I appreciate you guys.